Analyzing a character just by their hair is a pretty difficult task on its own, but yeah, I'm going to attempt it here. I'm probably the first to do this based on this certain character, but if anyone else has thought of it like the same way I have, then put in the comments below. Tell me who else has thought of it this way. I'll be glad to hear. Be glad to hear about that. That I'm not the only person who managed to think of it like this. But the character I'm going to be analysing by their hair is Yoshikage Kira, the main villain for part 4. And you thought I was probably going to pick Josuke. Yeah, I'm not going to get caught dead talking about his hair. But, with that out of the way... Oh, sorry. One last thing. I will only be looking at the part 4 Kiras, not the one-shot Ghost Kira, and not part 8 Yoshikage Kira. Just Yoshikage Kira, Kosaku Kawajiri, and Matured Kira. Those are all the ones, and I will be referring to them as so on. Well, apart from Kosaku, which I will be calling him Kosaku Kira. Alright, that out of the way, let's get started. Let's start off with Yoshikage Kira, the first form.
Yoshikage Kira is the main antagonist for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, also known as Diamond is Unbreakable. He is a mild-mannered kind of character, but he has possibly one of the scariest stand abilities ever. As mentioned in my last video, he has the ability to turn anything he touches into a bomb. And he can also launch a small bomb called Sheer Heart Attack from his left hand. So it makes him a formidable kind of villain. But how can we tell naturally? I mean, beforehand. Simple, we can just look at his hair. You can tell because most of his hair is brushed back. Kind of like his OCD tendencies are taking over. He wants to live a natural life. He wants to be peaceful. He doesn't want anything to get in the way of his natural and peaceful life. So, he brushes it back and tries to look well-mannered. But one thing really stands out, and those are the strands of hair at the front. Now you could be thinking, for a character with OCD tendencies, why would he have those strands of hair sticking out? To me, I look at those and I think of the personality. Like, his hair may be brushed back, so he can be calm and collected, but having those strands of hair stick out shows that something is off about him. Like, everything's not as it seems, as if we should be wary and keep watching him to see what he does. And with that, it kind of makes you wonder, what is he up to? Not only that, but it kind of makes you more anxious. Not only do you think, what is he up to, you think, what could he do? Now we have Kosaku Kira. Just by his hair alone, even its hair colour, it shows that something is majorly different. The hair colour, obviously because he forced Cinderella to turn him into Kosaku Kawajiri, but if you look at his hair, it's not all brushed back as it usually was. Now it's all spiked, it's all rigid, it's frayed, as if he's on edge. And his personality, apart from being well-mannered and calm, is now changed to being completely wary and always on guard. This is because, at this point of the story, Josuke and the others are actively looking for him. Meaning, he cannot go out as he usually was, and he has to keep his personality as he was, a complete secret, and he has to keep it contained, which makes it more horrible because he has to contain those killer tendencies too. And yet, somehow he manages to do it. But it's the hairstyle here that's showing you that he is struggling, and the fact that he is trying to fit in, but it's all in vain because the fact that Hayato catches him, and as a last resort, he accidentally kills Hayato. And finally, we have matured Kira. Oh boy, do we see a difference. His hair goes back to being brushed back to show he's calm and collected again, but there's virtually no strand sticking out. It's all brushed back. Sure, his hair is a combination of white, grey, green, whatever you see it as, and black, but there's virtually no difference from the calm, collected Kira we first saw. You can clearly see from the point on, this is a Kira who knows he has won. He knows he can't lose anymore. So, his hairstyle reflects it. Not only that, but I also kind of think that his hair reflects on his stand. But I'll get more into that later, after I give someone else's view of what Kira could be. Yeah, that's right, I got someone else's opinion on this. Basically, I asked a friend of mine who is enough of a JoJo fan of what I am, and I asked him particularly, what did he think of Kira's hairstyle reflecting his personality? This close friend of mine is named Callum Sharp. Mate, if you're watching this, thanks for the info and your own personal input. He told me, and I literally wrote this down to make sure I didn't forget it, but, he said that the hairstyle not only reflects Kira's personality, but it also reflects on how his stand is. He said, and I quote, "The hairstyle of Yoshikage Kira represents how his stand is. Normal Kira can blend in with a crowd, showing that his killer queen is a silent killer. And when he changes into Kosuku, his attitude completely changes as he tries to control his killer urges and therefore making Killer Queen more unstable and harder to control. And when he bites the dust, he knows no one can find him, and he knows that he can win because he has bites the dust effects. So basically, no one can find him, and if someone were to tell him where they were, he can't do anything. They can't do anything about it. All that happens is they die, and he comes back. He has complete confidence that Bites the Dust can protect him from virtually anything, to the point where he is invincible. And to that, I'd like to thank Callum Sharp once again for his input. If you guys have any input into this, leave in the comments below. Honestly, this kind of also reflects on how I feel that Bites the Dust reflects Kosuku's hair. Sorry, not Kosuku, Kira's hair, matured Kira specifically. Because its effects are, unless Kira knows who he's killed, he will constantly go back until he has found out who Bites the Dust kills. We can see that as an example for when he kills Rohan, but doesn't know it, so Hayato goes back. But then when he questions about it and sees Rohan die by Bites the Dust, he then knows who died, and time doesn't reverse. The only time he doesn't know is when it kills Jotaro, Josuke, Okuyasu, and Koichi. Then time goes back again, and yet he doesn't even know it. I also think that it kind of links with his hair, because from how I see it, his grey or white hair reflects how he's going forward in time, how he's aging and keeps going forward. But when Bites the Dust goes off and time rewinds back, that's what the black hair is to symbolise. It's not just the explosion that's happening, but the black hair is him going back in time and reverting back to a younger age, other than the white and grey hair symbolising an older age. But again, that's just my opinion. So, if you guys have any other opinions differing or agreeing with what I'm saying, leave it in the comments below. I'd actually really love to hear your separate opinions on how his hair could affect a character. To be honest, I'm actually open to hear any opinions on how characters are depending on their hair. So, if you wanna just leave a comment, go ahead. I ain't stopping you.
This is Jonix signing off, and I think I might have to develop my own stand. Johnny!